They say curiosity can open doors that were never meant to be opened, and for one rapper, that door led straight into darkness. The man you're looking at is Lil Tony, a rising rapper with hits, fame, and confidence that the world was finally his. But what happened one night in the mountains would leave him haunted for life. It started simple. A few people reached out to him offering to pay for a quick photo shoot. Nothing unusual, right? But the catch? They wanted to do it on top of a mountain. They said it would, quote, capture the view of the world beneath him. Money was good, the vibe seemed fine, so Tony agreed. But as soon as he arrived, something felt off. The air was heavier up there. Not just thin mountain air, but something that made his chest tighten. And then he saw them. The people waiting for him weren't regular fans or photographers. They showed up in luxury cars, Rolls Royces, McLarens, and Bentleys, and were dressed in suits that looked more like ceremonial robes than fashion. These weren't normal rich folks. These were the kind of people who had too much money and no soul behind their smiles. Trying to make conversation, Tony asked one of them what they did for a living. The man smirked, looked him dead in the eyes, and said, "We do demonic rituals." Tony laughed it off, thinking it was a joke, but when he asked again, the man's face didn't change. "No, seriously, you've heard of the Illuminati, right? Same kind of thing. That's what we do." Tony's stomach dropped. The others didn't laugh. They all just stared. He tried to play it cool, pretending it didn't shake him, but inside, panic started to build. While keeping up small talk, Tony discreetly pulled out his phone and opened up the Uber app. But the problem was, he was on a mountain, miles above the city. No cars available, no signal strong enough to save him. And then one of the men offered something strange. "You know what? Forget the photo shoot. Let's take you somewhere special. A place where we really get what we want." Tony's heart was pounding. He smiled and said, "Yeah, sure, sounds fun." Even though every instinct told him to run, he figured if he could just get down the mountain, he could escape. So he agreed. The man nodded and said, "Perfect, you'll ride with him." He pointed to a tall man standing next to a black McLaren. Tony climbed in, trying not to show fear. The car was silent except for the hum of the engine. The city lights flickered below, and the mountain road twisted like a serpent. Then Tony noticed something. The driver wasn't heading down the hill. He was going up. Tony said, "Yo bro, aren't we supposed to be going to that restaurant?" The driver didn't answer. His knuckles tightened around the wheel. Tony said again, "Let's hit the McDonald's instead, bro. I'm starving." That's when the driver's voice changed. "We're not going to a McDonald's." He slammed his hand on the wheel and shouted, "Do you know how much we paid to bring you here?" Tony froze. The driver kept muttering strange words under his breath, like a chant. And then, as Tony looked at him, the man's face began to change. He said it looked like watching flesh melt into something else. His mouth stretched wider, his skin darkened, his eyes sank, and black veins spread across his face. His eyebrows thickened and merged. He didn't look human anymore. That's when Tony realized this wasn't a man at all. It was something wearing a man. Tony didn't scream, he didn't move. He just stared straight ahead, pretending not to notice. Inside, his thoughts were racing. Stay calm. Wait for a chance. Don't let it know you're afraid. After a few minutes of silence, the car suddenly slowed to a stop. The driver mumbled something about preparing the way and stepped out of the car. That was Tony's moment. He threw open the door and ran. He didn't look back. He didn't care where he was going. He just ran downhill through the darkness, branches slicing his arms, rocks cutting his shoes. He ran until his lungs burned. Finally, he saw headlights. A truck parked on the side of the road. He ran to it, banging on the window, yelling, "Please, please take me down the hill. Someone's trying to kill me." The truck driver looked at him, confused but concerned, and said, "Get in." They drove down the mountain, and as Tony looked in the mirror, he swore he saw the McLaren's headlights far behind them, following for a few seconds, then vanishing. When Tony made it home, he couldn't sleep. For days, he tried to convince himself it was all a dream, but he said the man's face, that thing's face, still flashes in his mind whenever he closes his eyes. He stopped recording music for a while after that, changed his lifestyle, even said he doesn't listen to the same kind of songs anymore. Because once you've looked into the eyes of something not human, you never see the world the same again. As always, thank you for watching. Stay weird.